G'day viewers, how we doing? I thought we'd have a look at the stream for the Manchester route from Alan Thomson Simulation. And well, let's see how it goes. I haven't actually done a reaction type video before, so well, why not? Let's watch. So this stream was live at about 4 a.m. my time this morning on Twitch, and this is the VOD. I'll include the link in the description of this video. So let's see how we go.
Haven't gone live yet, would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. Right, okay, so as you may have seen on the article, we're looking at just over 900 services. Trucker Ash Lightfoot.
Hey, how you doing, Ash?
Thanks for the follow. Right, so we've got the two timetables. We've got a Sunday
Yep,
based
two
timetable.
timetables as
Sundays
expected.
are, a lot less services in them. The services start later. There's also like services that
So we
shunt
got the
belt into
158,
silence
153
rather
from
than going
Transport
all
for
the way
Wales,
through to
152
crew.
Transport Wales,
Where
390,
during the week
323,
they'll go through to
350.
crew. So you've got them sort of shunt moves in there as well.
So suppose the Sunday timetable isn't about adding more services as such in that sense, or it's not a cop-out of not having as many services.
Yeah.
But it's more about interacting with the depots, doing the shunt moves, that sort of thing, which was something we felt we wanted to add. We'd like to have done more of it, but it's something we wanted to add more into TSW with the ability to walk around depots and do sort of walk-arounds of trains and that sort of thing. It was one of the things we wanted to add in.
Well, that's kind of a cool thing. Sounds like there's more world in this one than we're used to, so that's pretty cool. The list of trains there is quite impressive on the weekday timetable. We can see the 158, 66, 153, 152, 390, 323, 350, 66, and there was some
We've done
more.
what we can in the time we had for this one, but it is pretty then. Oh, as Aidan said, 900 services. Roger, Rob, good evening, mate.
So just have a quick look at the route map. As you've probably seen on the article, we're running Manchester Piccadilly to Audley Edge down on the south end there, via Stockport,
Isolation Park,
and via the Starline out towards the airport. So that is the extent of the route.
Monroe MCS, thank you much for the sub, mate. Much appreciated. Welcome to the sub club as usual.
We have got the 323 with our route. We've just abbreviated it NTR to differentiate with the Glossop one. And we're going to go for a nice early morning service, and it was 2 Alpha, there we go, 2 Alpha 9.
So I'm seeing lots of services there that are 10 minutes, 14 minutes, 17 minutes, 23, 21, 34. So that looks like kind of the pattern we can expect, I guess. So let's watch on. Doesn't look like a lot of shunt services in there. So, and some of them are part 1, part 2. So that's where they've been broken up, which makes it easier to play for people with a shorter time on their hands.
And 2. So you've been driving this already?
I did last night, didn't I?
Yep. And we're going to go summer clear.
Will the timetables get full? Will Gen 9 get full timetables?
So Gen 9 is exactly the same as PC. So everything is full timetable. We didn't go with Gen 8 because of performance issues. We early on in testing, and we found that Gen 8 had a lot of crashes and stuff like that.
Well, that's good news. Gen 9 we're getting the full timetable. Not so good news for the Gen 8 people, of course, but that I think we probably need to get used to that, to be honest. Gen 8's on the way out. It's 12 years old now. If you can afford to upgrade and you're on Gen 8, if it's within your means, if it's possible, you should probably think about doing it.
Where Gen 9 consoles have been generally really good, steady FPS. I don't think we've not even had a bug for, say, PS5 or the Xbox for any performance issues.
Trying to get a good timetable in on Gen 8 is pretty tricky.
So driver and conductor
really
mode
tricky.
there.
And I know it
Spotted
lets
that.
down a lot of people, but it's honestly, it would be selling you the same product it's selling you a product that had half the things that anybody else had on it for the same price. And
Ooh, that touches the sore point. That does from the people with recent releases where the consoles have had less in them.
it's not particularly fair.
Right, I'm going to go.
Looks like the services
QA
do
and
go
testing,
beyond
so
the end of
it's
the route,
been
which is
through
good.
QA in theory twice. With our first batch of QA being our first route, there was lots of things we did wrong. Lots of things we did wrong. So what we ended up doing was actually taking it out of QA, fixing all the things they found that time, sorting out, some of them are quite big about materials and things, and glass textures using ridiculous amounts of resources.
Yeah.
There was lots of learning curves in this.
Stuff that we've learned a lot from the process.
So we would much rather have taken it out of QA and tried to get the best we can out of the route before going
I can see a moving escalator over there.
back into QA again. And then during QA, the second time, we found some other bits and pieces that we've had to fix. So, yeah, all in all, it's probably been... When did we go into QA for this second time round?
Sort of February,
March time, wasn't it? Yeah. So February, March time for the second round of QA testing.
Thought we'd just have a quick nosy round Manchester Piccadilly.
I should just say, guys, you're not here for the driving or the scenarios or hitting timetables. This is a route showcase. We are showing the route off, so we're not worried too much about being on time.
So we had quite a bit of work done at Manchester Piccadilly. We're going to look on mainly in the concourse when we do the 390 run. We can have a look around as well. But we've redone sort of platform 13, 14 sides. And then, as some of you have spotted, we've added in all like the taxi rank.
I caught a taxi from down there on my trip to the UK. It looks a little empty though down there. There's no vehicles and no people.
And all that sort of side of the station, because Glossop mainly use the other side, so we're really focused on improving this side of the station. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add
No, I'm
into
fine
that?
for this bit. No, we've got plenty. We're back here again, haven't we?
Yeah, so when we're back here again, we'll have a proper look round on the concourses as the 390 run is running from that side.
That northern guide, yeah, it has been very thoroughly tested. That does not mean that when it comes out, the player might find something that QA haven't found. I will make that abundantly clear. You're a bit short than me, aren't you?
Yeah, it's all right.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, there is always going to be hiccups that will happen and be found after the route comes out. That is just standard. But the DTG's QA is pretty...
That is a really good point, is that new stuff will always be found, because once it comes out of the test bed and the beta people and gets into the real world, there's infinitely more combinations of machines and usages and just how people do stuff that makes a difference.
thorough, I'm not going to lie. Some things are pretty spurious, some things are really, really important that they found, but most of them, we haven't done too many real not fixes on it. So all in all, we're happy where we're at the minute. There's a couple of things that are not in this build. This is actually a build behind, because this is on a different. This is a different build, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's still work in development, work going on. It's definitely not the latest build that we've got put in. It's roughly close to latest. When did we start building this route? It was about a year and a half ago, really, wasn't it?
Probably about 18 months.
Yeah.
I think we started officially on TSW about 2 years ago, didn't we?
Yeah, so we started on there. We done a sort of a testing route, and then we moved on.
We started with one route and then finished that route and did
Yeah.
this route. So yeah, somebody asked earlier, how do we come up with the idea for this route? We were originally...
Yes, that's interesting that they've been involved in TSW for 2 years and they're just reaching the point where it might come out. So I guess that sort of sets the scene for other third-party devs on the extent of the learning curve in getting up and running. I am noticing in this, like the preview video, the shadows are different to what we've been experiencing.
doing another route, and it was just we sort of bit off a bit more than we could chew, really. So we decided to...
In fact, I can see the track doesn't have the latest shadow tech either, because the shadow bars are running out just in front of the train there.
do this route because this covered a lot of the areas we wanted to do. One of the main reasons for the picking of this route, it has a lot of stations. So it meant we could work out how we get our throughput for stations done quite nicely. It has some bits of countryside, it has a bit of big city, it has some nice out of town areas, it has a bit of suburbia, it has something nice like the airport, which is a bit different and special. So when it comes down to looking for a route where you want to be learning lots of skills in different ways, this route really ticked all the boxes for us.
And of course, I can already see someone there saying, expand it to crew. There's always someone who's not happy.
So that's where we kind of went at the minute.
Yeah, the TSW5 track shadows are actually, funny enough, in the latest build.
Yeah, they're not in the version we can show off at the minute.
Oh, that's good. So the newest build does have the TSW track shadows in it, the new ones. That's good news.
Yeah, they were implemented the last week or so.
Yeah.
So they are in. I know it's quite bugging to see the short shadows. They are definitely in the route.
Will this make me play TSW more? Yeah, definitely. There's no doubt about it. I'll definitely do some more with this route. I think being part of the development process, even from like the sidelines, which I really have been with this route, it's been mainly Hayden and the rest of the guys, but it's been interesting.
Isolation
And I've got
park.
a little newfound sort of love for the 323, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, it would be nice to play a little bit more of it.
Drives the way I do, a bit too fast.
So we're now coming past Longsight and Manchester International. We're gonna have
323 has the new TSW5 features, so it's got suspension and guard mode.
That's good. The 323 does have suspension, etc. So that's good.
That was Kieran that implemented those. Yeah, Jake, thank you very much for subbing, man. Much appreciated. What was the hardest part of this route to make? That's for you, Hayden, that one.
There's a lot of track changes in this. Good.
I don't know.
I think from the sidelines for me, it's been getting the stations right.
Yeah, it is the station sort of work. Station. So this sort of goes down to, I've seen a couple of questions of why Audley Edge. When we initially sort of scoping out, stations is kind of a big factor in your routes because they're quite a big workload is around station modelling and the cost for them and stuff like that. So
Cost and timelines.
yeah.
Isolation cock.
We did look at pushing down towards crew, and then we made the decision during the development to pick Audley Edge. And the reason why we picked Audley Edge is you've got
Oop, bit of buffering going on here. Yay, Twitch. Hopefully it recovers. It's been doing okay so far. Let's just try and force it on a bit, maybe. There we go.
I think it's not perfect, but I'm happy with it.
yeah, it's not the most perfect because it's quite uniform, I find, with the route, where in reality they'll dip in sizes and stuff. Something that we definitely learn to take into the next one.
How much money did we spend this route? I can't tell you how much it's cost to build it. I can say lots of money is what it's cost. Yeah, a lot of money.
I think it's ATS's.
Most expensive build.
Yeah.
Yeah, by far. By multitudes of 3 or 4, I think.
And as you said in the past, you put your money where the mouth is.
That's
and
it.
You said
Yeah. Yeah. That was the one thing I said with TSW was it was time to put our money where our mouth is, and that is exactly what we have done. Hopefully it pays off. That's the main thing. Any future plans to extend it to crew one day? There's nothing firm at the minute. I can't tell you anything about what's going to happen in the future, really.
So, Mordorf Road, a lot of these stations down here are quite sort of modular. They look very the same on these bits with the same lightweight platforms.
I did notice that, Clouds, but at least you can see it says work in progress at the top. It will do us for now.
Oh, hello, Klaus. So I think-
It's looking fantastic, guys. I reckon you should do Leeds to Manchester, Victoria, mixture of cities, small historic towns, hills and villages. We've definitely got plans for routes coming up, but yeah, I'll have to be able to tell you what they are when I'm allowed.
Yeah, when we get into development and through.
I came into Manchester on this path, so
Yes.
it's looking quite familiar.
Posters have been fun, haven't they, Hayden?
Yeah, we've had fun with posters. No, it's been good. Working with Northern to make sure that the posters are all in line and everything. So that goes down to what we also may not have brought up, is that this route is was set into modern day. Obviously, as we said originally, we decided to look into building new stock, but we didn't have the skills or expertise to do it at the time. So we've decided to go with the 323, and with that, we thought the best thing to do was go into a timetable era where the 323 was predominant on the route. So we decided to go with 2018 as the timetable. So this is.
It's good to hear the reasoning behind the 323. As I expected, as a new developer, they probably wouldn't have wanted to try and pick up a train, but they've certainly adjusted this one, which is a good thing, and nice to know why they chose 2018.
Why a couple of questions with why is the ScotRail 158 in there, why is the 350s in there and the 350s in LNWR livery?
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah.
So with both of them stocks is that Northern and TPE respectively both ran liveries on this route at the time, so we decided to implement that into the 2018 timetable.
The Diamond, thank you very much for the follow, mate, much appreciated.
All pulls from the actual working timetable, times as close as we can pretty much bang on to get it. Don't think really, especially like with the weekday one. So I done the weekday one, Kieran done the Sunday one, and we're from my experience, I didn't really have to change many, if any, of the timings to match the sim.
So it's built from the WTT. They've basically put in the start and end times and let the game work it out, but they found that it's done a relatively good job, is what he's saying there. A WTT, if you've never heard of it, working timetable, it's the non-public version of the timetable. That lists everything, all the moves that the railway needs to run.
So just to say that again for you, Jab, the route is built in sort of modern day, but the timetable is for 2018. That meant we could make the most use of the stock around.
Okay, so a little bit of a mismatch between appearance and timetable error, which is good to have that explanation.
Yeah, also here. So you see like the lightweight platforms of the Starline coming out. So they're all sort of generic. We tried to get as much posters and realism in as we could. With great, as I said, great help from Northern. Yeah.
That Northern guy wouldn't the 323s. The only license we had for livery is this one. So that is down to licensing. Not our choice. One of the big things we've had to sort of come to realisation with doing working with DTG as a publisher, because of course ACS usually self-publish all of their stuff anyway. But working with DTG, whilst they've been brilliant, don't get me wrong, we have to work within the confines of their agreements with the brand holders and license holders, which even for DTG isn't always the most helpful thing in the world.
Isolation.
Yeah, so that's something I've been saying for ages, is that a lot of the things are restricted by licensing. So that's we've heard that come out and said now.
Cock.
I said Bell, glad you joined us. Smiley Ball, good evening, mate. Nice to see you. Hope you well. Thank you very much for the sub, man. Much appreciated. Hope you're good, man.
So a lot of the Starline is quite on top of an embankment and sort of lined with trees. And as you can see, the stations come pretty thick and fast. They're almost bang on top of each other.
Yeah. It is very much a metro style route, which those of you that watch the streams are not my favourite things to drive, because I'm rubbish at driving.
Nice little supermarket down there that was a custom.
Tesco's, wasn't
Yeah.
it? That was Nick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Will ATS be able to self-publish routes in the future? Does everything have to go through DTG? With TSW, everything has to go through DTG. Southwest Train Sim, welcome, mate. Nice to see us. I'm good, mate. Nice to see us in.
It has to go through DTG because it's getting published to
Looks
consoles.
like the sort of what I'd expect to happen is that people will be using things from Creators Club quite quickly. I think coming from a TSC background, being able to use things like the Creators Club or mods, I would thoroughly encourage. I would absolutely thoroughly encourage, and those that are on console, at least they'll still be able to use Creators Club stuff so they can substitute what they like that way. There was no real way without us making our own stock to make everything exactly period correct. So what we'd rather do is create the route period correct, and then have a little bit of leeway with the stock, and then people use Creators Club to create new liveries, and then when new stock becomes available for the route, it's bang up to date for that. Instead of having a route that's out of date or a train that's out of date, I'd rather the route was up to date, because then we can sort of pack the new stock in on top of it.
Yeah, so if there was new stock to come along from other developers, or even if we produced a new stock that would fit on the route, they would be fitted in, and we'll try and work with them to have it from a day dot. So even though it's quite a busy route as it is, you still sort of got your northern 150s, 156s, 158s. You've got your cross-country workings, your 185s.
Yeah.
From sort of the era that we're working around here.
27 miles, those joints.
Yeah, so I think the mixture of stock is quite decent. So I had a bit of a look at the route, and it does seem to match up more or less with what's there.
As I say, we're working within the confines of the licensing agreements.
We try and make it licensed as much as we can.
Yeah.
It's great working with the licenses and having the licensed product. And as I said, Northern have been really good with working on.
They have been brilliant, actually. Even if they do like a health and safety poster.
Yep.
Yeah, Northern have been very helpful, to be honest. They've been really good with this.
And to be honest, it adds that little extra immersion rather than having it as unbranded.
Oh, actually, when we first started this route, DTG were adamantly, venomously against unbranded products.
Yep.
I know that has changed in recent times.
All depends on the suitcase and when, where you are. What the
I think the commentary there about allowing the unbranded stuff it's actually DTG adjusting in reaction to the community views, because they did do the survey, and one of the questions they asked about was branded or unbranded, and they discovered that a lot of people really don't care so much. So they've gone with unbranded, where they can put in a train that would suit the route and meet the timetable, where they can't get a license.
product is.
Go on, Aiden, get it right.
5 yards, that'll do. Gatley. Funny enough, I picked the service for stopping all of them. So Gatley, once again, sort of this line, looking at the composite platforms. Oh, he left it late on the doors there.
Evening, Peter.
Ah, hello, Peter. Hild Green next. We can see some planes coming in the distance.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. That answers that
Miles
question.
and
It is
miles
Eld
away.
Green. I was wondering about the pronunciation.
So collectibles, we're actually going to leave the collectibles for the
Yeah.
DTG stream. So we've worked together, and we're thankful that DTG are allowing us to stream today, so we can show it nice and early off for you.
Yes, we were. Well, we were very much hoping to be able to stream this today, but it wasn't a given. DTG have actually been really flexible with us on this, so a massive shout out to their community team. DJ Adapter, thank you much for the following, much appreciated.
Thank you for the stations. Yeah, stations have been a love-hate relationship of mine for the last few months.
Again, I think they've probably been the most time-consuming, haven't they?
Yeah, I would say that's definitely the most time-consuming element of the route itself.
There's the A350 coming over now.
And it's our first plane. It's a good thing it's an Airbus, or it might land on us.
France beat. Will the airlink be shown in this stream or the DTG stream? We can show the airlink, I think, can't we?
Yeah, we can have a little walk, when we get to airport, we can have a walk round. We're not going to do the sort of the style branch off today, we're just going to go into the airport. We're working, up-road workings only today, so we're going out of Manpick.
There's a neutral zone sign there. The 323 should manage the neutral zones by itself. We shouldn't really need to do anything.
Again, thank you very much, mate. One of the things that we wanted to take across from our routes in TS Classic was the trackside detail and clutter. It's one of the things I always felt was quite missing in a lot of the earlier TSW routes, was it was always very bare next to the track, and it was one of my big bugbears.
Yeah, so it's sort of number one rule for us, isn't it? We work from track, and then we work priority is track, and then outwards, I would say, when we. And then anything outside of the boundary fence is then, as you get further away, less priority. So we like what a driver would see in the cab.
That's another part of this that's quite different from a Corsair TS Classic background, is being able to explore the stations and the surrounding areas a little bit more means that we have to put a little bit more detail in places we wouldn't usually. So it's been an interesting learning curve, I'll tell you that. It doesn't go out to 1st July, no, and yeah, it's bug fixes up until then, yeah.
Yeah, so they are talking a little bit about the world side of it. So this is the difference between Train Sim Classic and Train Sim World. In Train Sim Classic, you are the train. The player is the train. In Train Sim World, you're an entity controlling the train. You're in it. You can get out and walk around to some extent. This station looks like healed green, which is what I'm used to seeing, I think, from my own video I took out the window of the train I was on. Never put that up, but I have done that. It's interesting that they do talk about how flexible that DTG's been with them, which is good.
Yeah, massively in bug fixing mode.
Can you do me a favour? Can you go when between Levenshulme and Heaton Chapel, look to the left and show the famous biscuit factory? I will do my best. Is that when I drive? Is it?
Yeah, that is your drive.
Perfect. I'll do my. Not going to be much of a view out of the 390. I'll hop out the train for you. There we go.
One thing I haven't seen, which makes me happy, is trees crossing the train line.
Very much. We're coming on to the Heald Green Junction momentarily. That will then take us into the airport. Just unlock the doors.
Yeah, Stephen P, we're looking at Piccadilly concourse when we're doing the 390 scenario. Fuck luck, Dragon. Yeah, it's an Airbus A350.
Yeah, so we got the A350 and the A321.
Is it A321 as well?
Yeah.
So they are officially licensed Airbus products as well.
So the proper points where they sort of cross over us here is Heald Green, and then just in a moment when we go round the junction, you'll see the flyover. They also do come over sort of the route from the Stockport area, but they're at a lot higher altitude as they're coming on the glide slope.
Yeah.
Glide slope down.
GSMR does the same as it does in other trains. It comes up your head code in the box. It's not something that's implemented in TSW yet. In guard mode, can you guard from the cab?
Yes.
Yes.
It's one thing that we've been we wanted to do was make sure. I spent quite a bit of time and effort making sure when some bug fixes come up that the guard mode was definitely, and Kieran started to work with that, of getting the guard mode to work both in the saloon and in the cab.
That's quite good news because in routes it has been apparent that guard mode's a very secondary thing, and it sounds like they've seen it as quite important, and perhaps it will work better than some of the others.
Peters, guys, why do the routes cost so much to develop? Because we have a really good workflow with TS Classic, which means that we can build routes to the budget and we know what we're doing with it. With TSW, we really didn't appreciate some of the nuances that come with UE 4.276 or whatever it is, 7?
I think it's 2.7, isn't it?
2.7, along with sort of assets and materials, those sorts of things we weren't really hot on. And of course, we don't really have and didn't have a production sort of schedule of how things would be done and what would be done first, that sort of thing. Whilst we had rough plans, some of those things became more of a chore than others, and then of course as you get further down the route you might find that the stuff that was done beforehand needed to be going back and worked over, or some early assets needed changing further on in development. So we weren't expecting this route to be cheap, by no means, but as a sort of learning tool, which this route really was, it's done perfectly for us really. Mr. Fletcher, good evening, mate.
So it sounds like they've worked out their way of doing things in TSW, and they've worked out a lot of the differences and the work they have to do. And it does sound remarkably like they're thinking about more, doesn't it?
Right, and we're cleared into the platform. Going into 4.
And I think development costs are just higher for TSW. It really is. In some ways it's cheaper. It's a real mix mash.
Depends which area of the route that you're looking at.
Yeah.
Whether it's the gameplay, whether it's the time, the actual asset blonking, as we like to call it. So here we go, coming into the airport.
I think we've also got some special thanks to give. We've got Skyhook Games, got to say thank you to them.
Yes.
They helped us out with some of the scenery work at points where we were lagging behind, we were a bit behind schedule. Skyhook have done a little bit of help with us on this. Josh Rubio's helped us out with some of the visuals on signals and stuff, hasn't he?
Yep, yeah. So the signalling colours and visuals of the lenses is from Mr. Rubio.
350s would have been what TPE had at the time. So they'd have been doing like what the TPE served, so up to, where did they do 350s? Airport to Glasgow, didn't they?
Isolation cock.
Airport to Glasgow?
Yes, Glasgow and Edinburgh.
And Edinburgh, wasn't it?
The Norman guy, thanks for the sub.
Oh, the Norman guy, thank you very much for subbing, man, much appreciated.
Right.
Welcome to the sub club.
And that's our run into the airport.
You want to go and have a look around, didn't you?
Yep.
Looks like he's driving everything off mouse.
Ben Altree, thank you very, very much, mate. Much appreciated.
So not using a
Hope
controller
you're
or a
Cheers
rail
for coming
driver.
back. Hope you're well, man. Right, so Haynes now going to walk around there. I've not even walked around the airport yet properly. Well, not for a long time. Last time I did it was about 4 FPS.
So Metrolink platforms are in, obviously no stock, and then tried to make it quite busy around here. With the
Nice little cafe.
Caf. So some people have asked, I've seen in comments, yeah, we've looked to getting the white LED boards. That is seen sort of around this area, so we've got the white boards.
I'm just going to grab a drink while you do that bit.
Oh.
Do you need anything while I'm up?
No.
Excellent! The joys of a dev build. Has to be an ATS stream without a dump, doesn't it?
Yeah. I tore that one up. I tore that one up.
Absolutely.
Well, they've had a bit of a crash there off to the desktop. Hopefully they'll save the Unreal files so they can actually reproduce that. I'm just going to skip ahead until we find a bit where they go
Get
through
the
Manchester, Piccadilly.
So the
This
Northern
is
guy,
airport still,
they
so we'll
are
stick with this.
what TPE would be using. TPE did use those liveried 350s around this time. So they're not representing it is actually the livery they were using.
Working escalators. Like it does move you if you're not walking.
Extra feature, I guess.
Extra feature.
And it does seem quiet up here, but the passenger system, because it has to connect to the platform and because it doesn't work on the escalators, that it's
We'll
a bit
take
quiet
a look
up
at that, Quebec, and thank you very much. Has been picked up in QA, so we'll have a look at that.
So this is the Skyway off to the airport. Looks quite decent, apart from the fact there aren't 50,000 people walking through it.
That'll be my fault. So yeah, the skywalk's in. We only allow you up to a certain distance. But the skywalk's in. It's got blue lighting. The lighting is
the night light is lovely on it.
Yeah. So the blue lighting does come on.
And there's an invisible wall in there, so you can't go into the airport.
I've never even seen the buses do that till the DTG video. I thought that was very cool.
Yeah. Raise something up and I will look at the buses.
Good comment at the buses from the film Speed, yeah.
We'll get a look at that back and watch it back on the stream. Cheers.
Alright. So that's from Manchester Airport.
Sandra Bullock, if she's in, I'll be that suit me down the ground, really, I think.
So we did try and aim with the stations to allow you to have quite a bit more of a walk around.
Travelators don't move, no, there's not a way to implement those at the moment. As much as it would be quite cool. It'd also be slightly pointless, but I appreciate that having it in would be nice.
Through all the services. So one thing that it may be raised on our route is you'll see that the times on the menu start at 4:30. So what I've done actually for this timetable is actually start at around about 3 o'clock rather than midnight, because what I've done is the empty stock moves at the end of the diagram all go in and run afterwards. So you'll see down at the bottom, then you get your midnight ones at the bottom. So it's because of the way that I've structured the timetable is structured so the ECS run to the depot at the end of the timetable rather than at the start.
Which is good for the people that want to play shift.
The timetable is built fully
where they follow a whole shift for the
all
day.
The diagrams that are available. So the train works the diagram that the train was booked for. Thanks to freedom of information accesses into the.
It's more prototypical having the timetable start at 4:30, like a real driver's day would.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine starts at 4:45.
What does the TFW stuff do? There you go, Hayden. Where does the TFW stuff go from and to?
So the TFW stuff, it runs from sort of Wilmslow area into Manpick and then back out to Wilmslow. It's also stuff that comes in via 13 and 14 and goes down to the airport, and there is also stuff that terminate into 13 and 14. Some will just go straight back out towards Oxford Road.
Let's just jump ahead and we'll try and find the bit where they start wandering around in Manpick, because I want to see that.
So this is a dev build, but it's on. What's this release version? This is the.
This is sort of a preview build.
Yeah,
so the preview builds run slightly earlier than the actual.
DTG stream doesn't even use Brasso. No, this is, we officially should have waited to stream. But this was the only time that me and Hayden were going to be together to be able to stream before the launch of the route. So we did push DTG to be able to do this.
I don't mind having an early look.
Definitely think it's your install.
I think we can all understand that
How's it
if
work
there
with
is
Unreal
something
Engine?
that's a bit
It
funny at
looks
this
fine,
point
really.
that there's work to do, that's fine.
I think the guys that have been working on it, some people have
Let's just...
awesome is one way to put it. We've had some not the
do want to find the main
right,
picture.
yeah.
Here we go.
So that is actually implemented on the clock as well. And
somebody says we need a piano in
So
here.
might pop back just a little bit because I want to see where they start.
and see through the door, quiet and stuff.
I will also say it is swelteringly hot in here. Right.
Yeah, we'll have a look around Piccadilly as well.
Yeah, it'll dump there as well, let's hope.
That's literally because should we do Piccadilly on foot first, and then we'll do the 390?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'll do, just that and then play now.
Yeah, you can just 10 o'clock will do.
It's about 32 in here, I reckon. Which won't be doing the computer any good either, I'll be honest.
Probably why, yeah, probably can't handle it.
Even their computers are
Right,
wimpy.
so Piccadilly. Where do you want me to go? Down this bit?
Yeah, so as you can see straight away, we've opened the concourse up.
Oh, because you couldn't get down here, could
No,
you?
you couldn't. So that was literally a grey wall of
Guy doing a selfie.
emptiness. So yeah, we've opened the concourse up. You can have a look round. You got your route hopper marker to Blossom.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, you can go upstairs or downstairs on the concourse. We've just we've added it in because a couple of the team were like, stations are quite important in TSW. We felt like that you need a bit more exploration around the station. Even though like sort of upstairs is quite quiet and stuff, it is away from the all the sort of the focus. So
Yeah, it really
still
does
plays
need
a
people
lot
in
of
here. It
focus
looks like
around
it's about
platform
3 o'clock in the
areas.
morning or something.
And you can see out on
Station does look
the taxi
pretty about
range.
right, though, from my
And then if we
memory
go
of it.
towards where it says Metro.
Where's that? Oh,
Right
down there.
Yeah. So you can then also go down to the Metro platforms.
Yeah, I came in here on a TFW and then was staying in the city, so I had to find my way out to the
Oh,
taxi
yeah,
rank.
because you know exactly how old this build is, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because I've done some work.
Which I have to say for the people of Manchester, it's not that obvious from the
So even though you
signage.
can't really walk out into the taxi area itself, you can see through the doors, and then you come into the Metrolink area. We've got no AI trams in, but we've decided to allow you to come down and have a look and play around here anyway.
Do they let you get up close to the track? Yeah, they do. So you could always
So
spawn
we
your own
really
train in there
wanted
if
to
it's set up as
open the
track. It may
station
not
up
be.
a bit.
Maybe
we
only
felt like
visual.
we needed to add something to Piccadilly. We deemed to spend quite a bit of focus on
Nice clock.
adding it up.
Is that not a pub? No, that's King's Cross has got a pub there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Garlic Bread Limited. Bloody hell.
Yeah, when with the clock, the fascinating
That's like
thing
Garlic
with
Bread
the clock
Limited.
on
Where's all
all
my
that
money
is in real
going?
life, it actually runs a couple minutes ahead, I think it is, or behind.
What, in a train station?
Yes, it's and there's the old style
Ah, right,
station
yeah.
clock. So that is actually implemented on the clock as well. And
It's a nice touch of
Somebody says we
detail.
need a piano in here.
yeah.
I must say it looks so much better than Piccadilly and Glossop, doesn't it?
Yeah, so the tracks had a
Does look good.
reworking of the ballast colours, and generally the actual train shed itself is very much the same. The main train shed, it is sort of round towards 13 and 14, which you can access from the steps up there anyway. That sort of area, and I was quite surprised when I saw some comparison photos after the announcement article came out. Some people done some comparison photos, and I was actually quite shocked how different the 13 to 14 side had been done as well. Any posters on the station?
Not so much pick, is there?
No, and posters is not one of our collectibles. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what the collectibles are.
Yeah,
Posters
so
are not.
posters are not collectibles.
Smoking is not permitted.
All the
in
posters
any
have
part
got
of this station or on
all
shores.
like Northern posters and everything like that.
They're all branded Northern posters. One thing to remember is, even though Northern might have the rights to use some posters in their own stations,
It does look pretty busy down there in the station, so it's nice to see a lot of trains sitting down there. Hopefully they go in and out on the glossip ones as well. That would be good.
we might not have the rights to use them in game.
So this sort of area has been opened up quite a bit and redone, so we can then access 13 and 14.
No, posters don't come from Mastery in ours. No.
Yes.
Oh, yes, they do.
Yes, so there
Sorry.
is the Mastery posters have been done. So
Right.
when you get your Mastery for the route, you'll get the Mastery posters, and I have placed them at one at each station.
Okay.
So there is a Mastery poster at each station. They're randomly placed at each station, so that's a random placement.
So I suppose we can talk about that. One of the things, again, that we found sort of...
Whoop, there it
it
goes
is
again.
mine still.
Oh, well,
Those two are-
that's life. We might leave that there, because I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing there, to be honest. It's looking pretty decent. And yeah, I mean, it's a couple of weeks out from release, so a few little explosions like this are not that unexpected. Yeah, no, I think it's looking pretty reasonable. Can't wait to get my hands on it, to be honest, because it's an area that I've actually been to, so I'm familiar with what it looks like and what it should look like and how it should feel. So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it, because there's not that many routes in the game that are places that I've actually been and experienced and been for an amount of time. So I was in Manchester for 5 days, so I got a good look around at the joint. So yeah, pretty cool. All right, we'll leave that there, and yeah, let me know what you think down below in the comments. Are you looking forward to it? Is it a goer for you, a purchase or a sale thing? No, let me know. It's the first route from this crew, and it does sound like they're interested in doing more. So if it sells well for them, I dare say that may come in the future. There also seem to be some slightly veiled references to potential future stock. So there were no promises or anything, just some veiled references. You know, if future stock might come, then we could put them into the route. So I think maybe there's some thoughts in their heads. There's probably no plans, but probably some thoughts of what they might do. So yeah, cool stuff. Alrighty, have fun, folks. Enjoy yourselves. Let me know what you think of the route. I hope to be streaming it just before it comes out, like usual. So we'll see. See you later. At least I don't have to learn the trains, because they're ones I already know. Bye now. Actually, let me know if you need tutorials for them, even though we've had them before. Bye.
We played a game.